The entire Kherson front relies on a single bridge for all of its supplies at the moment, from what we can tell. And it's not the Crimean Bridge that a lot of people talk about, it's actually the Antonovsky Bridge, which is just outside of Kherson, right here actually. And today we've seen something incredibly interesting as the HIMARS batteries have once again struck the southern end of the bridge, like we can see here in this video. We actually have a couple showing this, but we're going to go over this one first. When you see there in the distance, the HIMARS missiles are slamming down into that southern end once again and causing a decent amount of damage to the bridge. A while ago, we actually saw Russian structural engineers on the northern end of the bridge showing that it was becoming unusable. And when you see that now, due to this heavy barrage, the southern end and its spans may also be compromised as well. Not only that, we know that the bridge is damaged enough that the Russians cannot use it because they've been using a ferry directly alongside the Antonovsky Bridge, and we can also see that they're trying to do some kind of repair work on the southern end as of yesterday in this video. We see him here pointing out the floating barge. And what this Russian is explaining right here is that all of these caissons are connected to each other with a kind of tarmac on top that allows for vehicles to drive over it, and it's anchored to the Antonovsky Bridge. So this is something of a attempt at a replacement of the bridge, so that way supplies can continue to flow. Right there in this part of the clip, you can actually see the little ferry that's ferrying Russian supply trucks from one side of the river to the other. And we can also see the boat, I believe, that may be helping to pull the ferry across. Well, what you can call a ferry at least. But moving on from that, now that we've seen this, we have a couple of other videos, and I guess you could say views of the bridge being hit today. Here's a third angle of the attack that we'll show real quick. This one is a lot shorter than the others. It's only about 4 seconds long, but it still shows that the barrage was intense on that end of the bridge. And finally, we have one last clip showing the damage from another angle, and this one's more of an extended view from a totally different perspective. I think we were able to trace this down to the youth beach, which is right here, but then again, we're not entirely certain on that one. You can hear the explosions at an incredibly close distance, and we can see the bridge right there. In fact, this doesn't look like the youth beach. This looks more like the residential areas further north of the western bank. But we still see that those HIMARS are raining down in a very concise spot on that bridge, most likely within meters of each other, causing a lot of damage. Once more, as we've seen before, strikes like these usually can knock out the span and compromise them where vehicles that are too heavy cannot drive over without falling into the river below. And so, now that we've gone over this and we made it pretty clear that the attack has now damaged the southern end of the bridge to a pretty good degree, and that the Russians are already using a ferry and attempting to construct a makeshift caisson bridge alongside the currently still somewhat standing Antonovsky Bridge, what does this mean for the Russians on the northern side? And why in the world did I say at the beginning of this video that the entire Russian Western Front relies on this single bridge? Well, that's because the Antonovsky Railroad Bridge has already been destroyed. We've seen that the center of the bridge was hit, and the two sides kind of pulled apart from each other, which is usually irreparable damage to a bridge. The Novokakhovka Bridge, we have been getting some news and a lot of videos of HIMARS strikes occurring on the actual bridge itself for a while, just to show you all this on Google Maps as well, because there are two bridges at the Novokakhovka area. There's the Lock Bridge, which is incredibly small and stretches over the lock where ships pass from one reservoir to the other on the Dnieper River, and then there's the actual Novokakhovka Dam Bridge itself, which we can see right here, which is right in front of the dam. And recently we've been seeing the, I guess you could call it the easternmost spans of this bridge being hit right around where my mouse cursor is circling, and so we don't know the status of this bridge. The attacks looked pretty severe, so we don't know if those spans have been compromised as well to the point that the Russian military is not able to use them. So as far as we know right now, the only place that Russian supplies are crossing is the Antonovsky Bridge strait, I guess you could call it, along with that ferry. That means the entire Russian front, as we showed right here on the map, multiple supply routes and supply lines are having to be run off of this one area alone, and specifically that ferry and what will soon be that Kherson bridge alongside the Antonovsky Bridge. If that ferry is somehow knocked out, and if that Kherson bridge is also completely destroyed as well, then that means the entire Western Front will most likely be without supplies. Every single one of these separate colored lines to show a different place that these supplies may be going. And a quick disclaimer, these are just estimates. We have no idea where the Russian supply lines are running exactly, which roads they take, but we do know that this would be a pretty decent spread showing where the supplies may be heading. And based off of this, if that one bridge, that single spot, was knocked out, tens of thousands of Russian soldiers on this side of the Dnipro River would be entirely without supplies, ammunition, or even a way out at this point, from what we can tell, rather than the ferry if they were to somehow get that running again. And so I guess you can kind of see the picture of why this is a bit of a big deal and why the Ukrainians are looking to destroy the Antonovsky Bridge and everything surrounding it as soon as possible, because if they can, it's going to put the Russians in a whole lot of a worser situation, and it's going to put the Ukrainians in a prime position to finally push the Russians out of the western bank of the Kherson River. I thank you all so much for watching this. I know that I said I would start up the short summaries again, and today I thought I would do something a little bit different, which is explain the prevalence and the importance of the Antonovsky Bridge and why it impacts the Russian military so heavily, and why the Russians kind of revolve around bridges a lot in this war, because we have another video that we can make on the Kerch Bridge. Anyways, beyond that, I hope y'all have enjoyed this new foray into a different kind of video explaining a smaller, specific aspect of this war. And if y'all are new to the channel and are just watching this, please make sure to subscribe, because more videos will be coming out like this in the coming days. In fact, we're going to be trying to make a video every single day. They may be a little bit different than each other, but they're still going to be interesting in covering the war nonetheless. So, thank you all so much for watching once again, and I will see you all in the next one. See you around, and take care.